All right, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, my name is Darius Lanchauskas, and I'm the Chief Market Analyst here at Markets.com. And today is Friday, ladies and gentlemen. So we just got the NFP numbers, and those are, well, kind of not bad, basically. Look, it came out at 139K. Basically, I was aiming for the area between. So I talked about this in my morning webinars. And I said that, look, my target is somewhere in there because, again, yes, 130 is not a bad number, but a little bit maybe on the lower side. The previous figure got adjusted to 147, again, from the 177 initial. Look, in general, like I said, this, although the number is on the lower side, it's not a bad thing. The US dollar is reacting positively here. We can see that also the U.S. indices are also pushing nicely to the upside. The S&P 500 is also coming closer to that psychological 6,000 zone in the cash index here. The Nasdaq 100, we're wiping out all the losses made from yesterday because again, there is some apparently like some news circulating that the two. Managed to reach some sort of like agreement, like to kind of put all the disputes aside. At least that's what's how it look how that's how it looks. But hey, we'll see how that escalates further. Of course, I mean, if they're actually gonna do something like that, like putting everything aside for now, we can see that the Nasdaq is pushing nicely to the upside, almost like I said, wiping out all the losses made from. Actually, wiping out all the losses made from yesterday, and in a way, what I'm looking at here is I'm looking at this 21,805 zone here on the cash index. If we can get a nice clearance of down, I'm kind of aiming for the current all-time high because we're not really far from it. So in a way, I think that June could be a test of the new all-time or of the previous or the current all-time high and creating a new one. Again, let's see. Of course, I'm not rushing into things yet. For now, like I said, this is at least the game plan that I'm following. Then the S&P, like I said, it's looking also not bad, also not far in a way from the all-time high, around 6,147 here on my cash index. And the Dow Jones Industrial Average, look, I said it before, I'll say it again. It could be that we're forming something of an inverted head and shoulders pattern with the left shoulder being here, the two heads, and the right shoulder right there. The neckline is somewhere around the 42,850 zone. If we can get a nice clearance of that one and we stay above that, great, wonderful. I will continue targeting the upside. Of course, we're further away from the all-time highs, but hey, it's all doable, right? Look, the US dollar index, yes, enjoying the moment, but let's not rush into things because, look, next week, of course, we have the US CPIs, which are coming out, and those are expected to come out a little bit on the higher side. So, in a way, that could play in favor for the US dollar. But up until then, maybe there could be still some weakness here. Now, we could still drift maybe back down going into next week. Today, everything is positive. Like, let's enjoy the moment. By the way, in terms of economic data, very quickly, I just wanted to pick up that unemployment came out at the same 4.2. Non-farm payrolls, just they came out at 139 in between the forecast and the previous. The average hourly earnings month on month almost doubled the previous figure, and actually not almost doubled the previous figure, and the year-on-year number the same as previous. So in a way, nothing to complain about, right? So that's what I think that the market will stick to today, and that's why I'm still seeing positivity, unless some sort of a headline comes out or something from the White House again, or something related to that basically they're not agreeing or something with somebody, and yeah, it's gonna be then it's gonna be a mess again. Like, and for now, as it is right now, we're looking at a nice beautiful day. However, again, do not we leave an element of the doubt. So yes, for now, like I said, looking at this picture, everything is somewhat positive. But again, I'm not rushing into this for very very short term. From the very very short term perspective, yes, maybe more upside could be possible here. But again, we have our reservations about this again because look. The Federal Reserve is expected to do two cuts by the end of this year, but to be honest, maybe this could shift, more to the downside here, to the other side, to the right side, because at the moment, I don't think that this will. Okay, June, yes, it seems like it's a done deal. We're not going to have a cut. July as well. September, October, that's when they're pricing in. But again, let's not rush into things yet, because again, I think this could end up being just like shifting to one cut maybe, or maybe even no cuts. If that's the case, then we could see the US dollar maybe rallying up again. However, at the moment we are seeing the negativity until we get that some sort of confirmation. I think that the US dollar could be under a little bit of pressure, and we know that the White House does want to see a lower interest rate. However, if inflation starts picking up, and we see that, let's say if we see that next week, then there's no point of cutting further. I think that this is what the Fed is trying to say and trying to do. They're trying to kind of keep it calm. Let's just keep an eye on the metrics, not to be influenced by politics. But again, we understand sometimes it's difficult to do so. But anyway, look, in terms of forex pairs right now, just wanted to have a quick look what's happening there. USD JPY, beautiful push higher. Yes, similar story with the USD CAD. Look, with USD CAD, I talked about this one as well. I said that I'm watching this upside support line taken from the lowest point of December of 2023, which could provide good support. And there we go. That's what it's doing. We're rebounding here. So far, so good. Maybe we could see a bit of a move to the upside. By the way, Canadian numbers. Let's quickly have a look at those. Canadian unemployment numbers 7% as expected. So yes, participation rate on the lower side. So maybe that's where also the weakness. Participation here at the Canadian on the lower side. Actually, no, it's the Canadian here. Oh, the U.S. participation rate is on the lower side. There we go. Canadian participation rate is bang on the same as previous. Okay, it's just the unemployment change. Okay, managed to beat. So in general, there should be good numbers here for Canada. But I think that the weight, what's happening. I think that the U.S. dollar is taking the spotlight, and we're seeing that positivity. But again, let's not rush into things. Maybe we could see a nice rebound here back up going into next week. So let's see if, like I said, if the US CPIs are not going to sparkle well, with the expectations, and maybe let's say they come out as current, then maybe the US dollar could continue weakening, and we could see this one USD CAD drifting nicely to the downside. But at the moment, I'm considering a little bit of a rebound here going into next week, maybe up until the US CPIs. USD CHF here, similar story, nice, beautiful push higher, but again, too early to say anything. One thing I'm really interested is in the 30-year yield. There we go. This one is rocking nicely to the upside. There we go. Look at this. United States 30-year government bond yield is already approaching that 5%. So let's see if that's going to happen. If we can clear that, it would be really interesting to see if it can clear it. Because then, if it does, then the stock market could actually feel a little bit of pressure. But again, let's not run into conclusions yet. It's too early. The 10-year also is pushing nicely to the upside here. So again, this all kind of shows risk to the stock market, because again, what's the point of jumping into stocks which are already kind of getting closer to their highs, when I can jump into bonds and get like that fixed income in a way. So, but again, that's an idea. Of course, there are a lot of things to debate here. Gold, by the way, is stuck here, but I'm still somewhat positive on gold. That's why I'm leaning a little bit more towards the downside on the US dollar. I'm still kind of somewhat positive here on gold. I mean, this could still drift nicely to the upside. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to, like I said, share with you this little piece on US data. Let's see what's going to happen today. But again, like I said, we're hoping that nothing major is going to happen. By the way, did something come up right now as well? Used car prices. Okay, that's not something that I'm getting right now. Anyway, so yeah, like I said, it's I just wanted to share with you this. So hopefully you found it useful. Thank you very much. As always, stay safe. Have your stop losses in place. Risk only what you can afford to lose. Don't overtrade, and everything will be fine. I'll see you next week. Bye for now.